What's going on, good people? It's your girl, Ray P. Welcome back to another episode of the We Got Y'all podcast with Ray and Rich. This week, we are covering HBO's Winning Time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty, Season 2, Episode 6, Beat LA. What's going on, Rich?
Fuck Boston. What's good with you, Ray? How you feeling?
I'm sick.
Straight up, man. I think we I can't remember what show it was. It might have been Run the World
It was
or
for
yeah, when you played sick that game too, man. It's like Ray P got a couple flu games under her belt and she still comes and performs to a maximum level. You
I
know,
appreciate you.
her 65% is better than a lot of people's 100. I just want to shout you out for being here. And I guess that also says a lot about Winning Time.
Right.
Throughout the tenure of our podcast run between We Got Y'all and Culture Garden, a couple times people have been sick or had something come up. Normally, this would have been rescheduled. You know, hey, give me an extra day.
Mhm.
Right? P hit me up yesterday. I can't wait to talk about this episode. So, shout out to the content of the show. Shout out to Winning Time.
Shout
Um,
out to Winning Time. I ain't even had no voice, y'all, but it's creeping. So if I sound raggedy, that's what it is. Don't judge.
yeah, we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. Before we get rolling into today's episode, I do want to remind everyone. If you have not watched last night's episode, Sunday night, should I say, by the time you're listening, it'll be Tuesday. But please make sure you do that because there will be spoilers and there will be explicit content throughout the content of this episode. As we roll into it, I'm going to give a brief synopsis. The Lakers win another championship, but after humiliating defeats, they have to regroup to take on the Celtics. This is season 2, episode 6, as Rachel said, the penultimate episodes. It was directed by Sally Richardson Whitfield,
My
written
girl.
by Max Borenstein, Jim Hecht, and Jeff Pearlman. The show is based off the book Showtime, written by Jeff Pearlman. And shout out to the incredible cast. I just said, Rachel, that you specifically hit me up and said you can't wait to talk about the episode. It was sometime last evening, I'm sure right after you ended. So, what were your opening thoughts?
Yo, first off, this episode was crazy. But what y'all don't know is usually once we finish recording, Kyron and I talk for a good bit of time about random things and random histories. This whole episode was damn near our whole conversation last
It
week.
really was. I couldn't remember if we talked about it on mic or if it was after because I was like, man, we kind of predicted what this episode was going to be.
We talked about all of this shit. None of this shit I knew because, again, fair weather fan, or not even barely a fan, a TV fan, you know? So I know none of this shit. So having that, seeing everything that Kyron described to me last week off mic was crazy. I was like, oh, damn, that shit really did happen like that. That's crazy as fuck.
It's wild.
And we saw Magic's first proposal, which we also talked about off mic.
I love the fact that you just said first proposal because
Shout out to Cookie.
if you are a TV fan, as Rachel affectionately calls it, and you think that they actually, because everybody knows Magic and Cookie been together forever, quote unquote, but they didn't get married until 1991, and this is 1983 at
Mm-hmm,
the time.
mm-hmm.
83, 80, yeah, 83. So that's just wild in itself, man. Magic, I said it. I don't know if this was on there off mic as well when we finished recording, but Cookie, man, Cookie could have got whoever she wanted. Like she really could have.
Yeah.
But shout out to them. They still together. They still happy. That
Oh,
ain't
that
my business. They worked it through. Shout out to them for being. They're an inspiration to someone.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Not
Like
me, but to someone.
it looks good on you.
Yeah. So we roll into this episode exactly like, and the only reason I felt it was gonna open this way is because when the Celtics episode, we saw them winning the championship at the beginning. And
Mhm.
I just knew with the timeline, next week's going to be the finale. We have to squeeze in 2 years because of how this season opened with them on the bus leaving Boston in '84. So we know we're getting right there. So I'm like, we got to squeeze 2 years somehow into one episode. So I'm like, we're going to get right to the shits. I'm sure they're going to celebrate winning the championship, which I didn't tell you, but I'm obviously you picked up right away. They did win the '82 championship against the Sixers. And anytime you got David Bowie's Let's Dance come on, obviously we know it for Puff, been around the world. But just that beat itself, just coming in, the slow mo, everything about it just looked good. The Lakers winning, there's something about that imagery that looks right.
Mhm.
sorry to everybody who's not a Lakers fan. If you're a Boston fan, Lakers are one of those teams that you love to hate, like the Cowboys, but there's something about them that just they look like winners when they holding that trophy and pouring that champagne.
Bruh, not winning time making me question and, dare I say, regret my years as a Celtics fan.
Yeah.
Talked about it maybe in the premiere about how during, the Big Three era with KG,
Mm-hmm.
I became a Celtics fan while he was out there. Bruh, I'm like, fuck Boston. Every week,
Straight up.
I feel it in my spirit, fuck Boston. Yeah, shit's
Yeah, it's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. I can't describe it either. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So we have them winning. We have very similar to Magic, his first year in the league, winning him a championship. Pat Riley's first year as a full-time head coach.
Swaggy.
Got his ring, turned things around. And that just, I think episode 1, when Westhead was still around and Pat Riley had that great scene that we always reference back to about, why teams don't repeat. We now see Pat in that position.
Yeah.
Except for he's the head guy. And he's the one that wants to make sure that they don't get complacent.
Yeah.
As they try to find new ways and new things that motivate them. Because there was a great point made, and Magic did it in his monologue in the locker room, like this winning shit. It's easy. Like this is what's gonna happen in the 80s. Like 2 and 3 years, we nice. Ain't nobody gonna beat us. Ain't nobody touching us. Mm-hmm. You just get that confidence, and I can understand it. And I love how we flash forward to 1983, the following year, against the Sixers. And Pat Riley sees the future.
Yeah.
Niggas talking to their girls. Or some girl, I don't know if it was their girl, but some girl. Taking it lightly.
You cannot rest on your laurels, okay? Mm-hmm. And definitely not nobody else's laurels. But backstage, they were not prepared to play. And if you didn't know, like I didn't know, they got swept that series. That was Dr. J's first ring.
Yeah, that was Dr. J's first ring. And everybody, just for a reference, Dr. J was that guy, every now and then there's a superstar that comes along and I want to see this guy get a ring. Mm-hmm. A lot of people did it with Carmelo recently. LeBron was kind of like that before he got his. Dr. J was that guy in the league where everybody, even players, mm-hmm. I'm sure secretly some Lakers, if they weren't playing the Sixers, would have said, we really want Dr. J to win one because he was that kind of guy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, his first ring.
That's and was he older or younger than Kareem?
He's older than Kareem. Well, they might be around the same age. Kareem played an absurd amount of years. Like it was unheard of to play as long as he did. I know that Dr. J retired in 86, 87, somewhere around there. So he retired a couple years before Kareem. But age-wise, I'm not sure where they are. Actually, I think Dr. J's younger in a sense.
Okay.
I don't know.
I couldn't tell because they had a different person playing him in season 2. And again, this was all basketball or action shots versus our time with him in season 1, where he has that time with Magic and talks about he and Cookie's relationship and he and his wife, where he is that. Mm-hmm. And he was an older dude then. So I was like, damn.
So he's 3 years younger than Kareem. I just looked it up.
Okay, but still significantly older than Magic.
So about 10 years older than Magic.
Okay, that makes sense. And that makes sense with how they had him looking like an old nigga in season 1.
They definitely did have him looking like somebody's uncle. The cool uncle too, though.
Definitely the cool uncle. That's you, nephew.
Yeah, for sure. But there were a couple things that went on in that series. For one, as we mentioned, Pat Riley, I love the fact that he saw it and he told them straight up, I don't want to see anybody get too comfortable. Like mm-hmm. These guys are not fucking around. You just beat them 2 out of the past 3 years. You think they're cool with that? And they did something very important. We all know that the Lakers lost to Houston in 81.
Yeah.
A big part of that is because Houston had what a lot of people say is the Kareem kryptonite, a brother by the name of Moses Malone.
Okay.
Hall of Fame player, all-timer. We see him in this episode. They emphasize that because he gave Kareem fits. Mm-hmm. Like Kareem could not do anything with them, and he's the reason why that they won. And they made a reference to this thing that Moses Malone said during that playoff run. Somebody asked him in the media how they thought that their playoffs were going to go for him. He said, 4-4-4. And shout out to Ray P. That's an inside thing between me and Ray P. We had a 4-4-4 moment once upon a time that is always going to be hilarious. But yeah, other than I think one loss that they took, they pretty much swept. Moses, he said that because we're going to sweep everybody, which is nicer. And they came into it, and the Lakers, like you said, weren't prepared. They thought all that other shit was going to work. Then there was chatter around the league, like, have the Lakers been figured out? Is this broken?
But I would say so. You know what I'm saying? Bus and Jerry were right. Essentially, you have to shake something up. We can't bring this same team in this next season if we want a different result. So I guess let's roll right into it.
Yeah. And before you even do, I think it's important to also emphasize the mental fortitude that you have to possess to continuously play at a high level, compete at a high level, and win at a high level. Steve Kerr, who's the coach of the Warriors, I think he's won like 11 rings as a player and a coach. But he played on that 90s Bulls team that won the second three-peat with Michael Jordan. And in interviews, I've heard people ask him, do you think you guys could have won 8 in a row? If Michael never retired, could you have won 8? He said, absolutely not. Like, I know it's Michael Jordan, but you guys don't understand the strain that it takes on you mentally.
For sure.
It gets to a point where this is relief. It's not joy. You're not happy about winning, and you feel, okay, we did what we were supposed to do. I can't wait to get a break and get away. So it's hard to keep on top of all of those things. And Riley saw that, and that was a big driving factor for him. But I know you want to get right into the shakeup.
Brother Norm. First off, even before we get into Brother Norm, we get our first view of Debbie the Allen. First off, I should have Googled. I'm sorry, y'all, because I'm sick. I wasn't prepared. Who the
actress?
Yes.
Man, listen, gorgeous.
Almost spot on. I was like, wait a minute, is that her daughter? But I don't think that's her daughter. But shout out to that. Shout out to the dancing, all of that, because if you are unfamiliar with who Debbie Allen is, she is an iconic dancer, choreographer. She still teaches, has a studio out in LA, Debbie Allen Dance Academy. I love her down. Felicia Ayers Allen's sister, my girl. So shout out to that. But so we see Dr. Bus and chewing Pat and Jerry out.
Yep, like, Jerry,
what the fuck happened? And I liked how they weren't throwing each other under the bus.
Yeah.
They both were like, you know what? It's lightweight on me. And I think that they both were right because, yes, we have a good team, but I do fake watch the draft. Like, we ain't got nobody up in here. Like, y'all haven't called anybody. What's going on? Yes, we're good, but again, we can't rest on our laurels of yesteryear. So even despite winning that second championship and whatever else, we still should be doing something to ensure that everybody has fresh legs, that there is an answer for everybody. Is that you, coach? I don't coach. I just talk shit. So that's not how it works. Is there not at least a B to every person's A? You know what I'm saying? Is that not why we have enough people on the roster?
100%. You got to 100%. You got to keep a rotation. You have to know exactly who's going to be on the floor in any type of situation. You have to know not to run your star players in the ground. I think it's important to know to remember this is the early 1980s. Modern medicine, as we know it today, where you can tear ligaments and all that kind of stuff and be right back at it in 9 to 12 months. That did not exist back then. If you had a major enough injury, your career could be over, as we saw earlier this season with Magic and the concern about his knee. So yes, you were absolutely right. At some point, and I can refer this just to my coaching, which is nowhere near the level of an NBA, but at some point, especially when you're in the same league, other teams are going to start looking and say, I'm tired of losing to this team.
Nigga, games are being recorded at this point. We got film to watch
Mm-hmm.
and see what you're doing. I know your plays, you know,
And
and
that's what Philly did.
one or two new ones up, but I don't know what the fuck is about to happen here.
Everybody knows what everybody's going to do by the time you get to a 7-game series. They know all your sets, all your plays. It's about execution and who wants it more. Philly is a great example of this, as you just mentioned, Rachel. They went out and got Moses Malone. If we are going to beat, we just lost to the Lakers twice in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw what this nigga was doing to Kareem when he was down in Houston. Let's try to see if we can get him and build a team that's solely built to beat the Lakers. Fuck the rest of the league. We know we can hang with them. We need a team that's going to beat this team. And you still see that today. Houston Rockets did it a few years ago. They went out and tried to build a team that's specifically going to beat the Golden State Warriors. I don't care about anybody else in the league, because if we can beat them, we can beat anybody. And it just didn't work. Some people just better.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Some people just better.
Shout out to proper planning, you know, poor planning, something poor performance, whatever that little 5
Yeah, proper planning prevents poor performance.
That.
I do want to give a quick shout out. Trishana Clark.
Shout out to you,
beautiful,
girl. Gorgeous
young woman. Gorgeous. I mean, stunning.
Gorgeous.
And I mean, that's Debbie Allen you're trying to be.
And
that's hard to do.
Even the sass of Debbie Allen, if you've ever watched her videos, her dancing, I reposted some on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, of Debbie and Norm dancing even as elders, still getting it in. She is still spicy and sassy. I like how they showed their connection at his birthday, or at the club. It was his birthday party where they were dancing so intimately and close. Like, just it's nothing like having a nigga in a trance.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because I was going to bring that up. We've talked on previous episodes about pretty much word around town is, if you go into the club, get there before Norm. Because when Norm walk in, it's
they don't call Norman for nothing.
You feel me? It's slim pickings for you. Norm gonna take all the attention. You know, that was between him and Magic. You know, if you get there after these two, then you might as well go home, because ain't nothing for you.
Yeah,
ain't nothing for you. So when you have somebody like that with that rep, you know what type of woman you got to be to just make him just lose his mind. I mean, they got married in 1984.
Period.
So it wasn't like Norm was on some magic shit and I'm gonna string you along until the 90s. Now I see you. I like you and I want you. Like, that's Debbie Allen. Like, what are we talking about?
I love it.
Debbie Allen. They still married today. Yes. When you find one, that's the one. What are we doing?
That's it, baby. I ain't going nowhere. Mama, I got the rent.
You know what I'm saying? Like, his knee ain't hurt now. I bet it ain't. My knee wouldn't be hurt for Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen want to dance. We dancing. Nigga. Pop, lock, and drop it. Yeah,
salsa, man. Merengue, bachata, modern, lyrical. I'll come on a fucking point shoe for you.
For sure. I want to get back to a point you made in that meeting with Dr. Buss and Bill, Jerry, and Pat.
Yeah.
You can tell the respect and that camaraderie of being teammates that Pat and Jerry had. It's almost like that was a representation, a visual for what they wanted to build. We want to build something or a team that's going to be as solid as us.
Yeah.
Where we are literally working at this together. I know that we need each other to build a proper team. And it's not like the last regime where I'm going to be like, well, he the problem. We should have done this. They both said, hey, man, I fucked up here. Jerry's saying I fucked up here. They did kind of mention a couple pieces that they added. They mentioned James Worthy, 1982 #1 pick, which is nuts. It's crazy how they got that pick to begin with. But they did get that pick, and James Worthy will be a big piece of this team moving forward. But he did get hurt in that first year in the playoffs. So you don't hear his name a lot. But one scene that kind of led up to that, I don't remember if it was directly before or after that, was when Dr. Buss was in the forum. Just kind of by himself. Jeannie walks in and he's just thinking about Red. Like, he said this shit was going to be over.
Yeah.
He said it was going to end, and he was right. And I loved like the kind of reverse psychology that Jeannie played on him. Like, well, you know, you can always go back to real estate. Pretty much like, what you going to do about it? You going to sit here and nut up, or you going to go out and get your championship?
You your daddy's son.
G.
Shout out to Jeannie Buss, man. I fucking love her down. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if it's this week, but she'll be on the official Winning Time podcast, and I want to check that out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I will too. I will too. I haven't listened to any yet because of what we doing.
For
Try
sure,
not to mix. But I do want to hear from Jeannie.
that part. Just I saw once I saw that she would be on, I was like, oh, I definitely want to hear, especially considering her pivot, essentially, because she really wasn't feeling it at first, and now she like, I love this shit. So, I definitely will
Mm-hmm.
check that out. So they decide to trade Norm. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if you said that Wilkes was a beast in the previous finals performance. I don't know who that motherfucker is. That's a name I've never heard before prior to this show. So you tell me, was he a beast?
Yeah, Jamal Wilkes was nice. I mean, he's a perfect complementary player for the Lakers. He's one of those guys where if he was on another team, he probably would have put up even better numbers,
Mm,
but he wouldn't have won. Like he's not going to lead your team to a championship. You get what
okay,
I'm saying? But if
okay,
he is your third or fourth best player, then you are a really fucking good team because he is overqualified for that.
okay.
Um, Actually, the famous game the Magic had in Game 6 his rookie year when they won the championship,
Yeah.
Jamal Wilkes scored 39 points. Nobody just the quietest 37 or 39 points anybody's ever scored in a finals game
Oh
because
wow.
Magic did everything. He kind of overtook that. But Jamal Wilkes was nice.
Okay. Shout out to him.
Um,
No shade. Shout out to you, Jamal.
yeah, no. Jamal Wilkes is legit. I want you to get your piece off because I want to talk about this Norm Nixon trade.
Okay. So in this process of elimination for trading Norm, they trade Donald Sterling buys the Clippers to have a poor man's Lakers. Got it.
Mm.
Whoop de whoop. Why did they have to give him one of the starting five? Why couldn't it have been your sixth man? Who's
So
somebody that people know, still somebody that's a role player. Why did it have to be Big Dog? One of the big dogs.
because the Lakers are trying to build their team back. They're trying to. All right, let's all right. So let me answer this question with a little bit of history. And I
Please.
mentioned this last week.
Okay.
Jerry West, Norm Nixon,
Hmm.
not a good relationship at all.
After which we see Norm won no hoe. He told him that shit to his face. Okay, go
Not
ahead.
exactly. So to the point where Jerry, I think as recent as 2013 or so, had even mentioned in an article, it wouldn't surprise me that to this day, Norm Nixon thinks I'm the Antichrist.
Mm,
But he was kind of singing his praises. Like I really liked him. I liked him more than what he thought. But there was some real issue there, and he
mm,
didn't like his persona. He didn't like the pretty boy shit. None of that.
yeah,
And obviously Norm wasn't taking it. So it had always been personal. I think we saw in season 1 where there was another deal they were going to trade Norm for, and it got nixed. Somebody got hurt.
yeah,
So it didn't happen. And Norm, just being Norm Nixon, he would talk shit sometimes and tell them niggas, "Oh, y'all want me here, trade me." So there was a moment when Norm Nixon had said that,
mm.
and that was Jerry's last straw. Like, I'm tired of this shit. Fuck it.
Damn.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the rub. You don't just trade Norm Nixon. I think we need to make sure we get the timeline right. Norm Nixon was just an all-star. The
Hmm.
1982 championship that we opened this episode with them celebrating, guess who led the team in scoring for that series?
Norm Nixon.
Norm Nixon. You
Hmm.
don't just trade Norm Nixon. You don't disrupt a team like that. But Jerry wanted to find out a way. I mean, it was almost like a personal vendetta at this point. I need to get rid of him. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the anonymous quotes. So what does Jerry West do? Jerry West hires a private investigating team to follow Norm Nixon 24/7 and give me full reports on what this man is doing every moment of the day.
Nigga, what?
Yes. Remember when I told you, like, I really hope that they show what happened with that whole thing? Jerry West hired a 24/7 surveillance private investigator team to follow Norm Nixon. Do you want me to keep going or do you want to interject right now?
Oh, please. What?
They were following him for about 2 weeks. I might have the timeline wrong, okay?
Uh-huh.
One day, Norm is pulling up to his crib. And all right, and keep in mind, there was some other stuff going on with Norm at this time as far as like fraternity suits and all this other nonsense,
Mhm.
NBA player shit. Y'all seen Love and Basketball. Y'all seen what Zeke was dealing with. But Jerry West, the reason he even hired this team is because he was convinced that Norm was on drugs. This is the 1980s when everybody was doing coke, and everybody that was doing coke was saying Norm isn't doing coke. Like Norm is not doing drugs. Like, and you couldn't perform at Norm Nixon's level if you were on drugs like that. You might have a game or two here and there, but not like that. Norm wasn't.
Yeah.
But Jerry, I guess he had seen him in the foreign club one time with somebody who was like a known dealer and started putting this together. And it was really this driving force for Jerry West to say, nope, I saw him. He's a drug. Like, find me some kind of evidence to get him. So one day Norm pulls up to the crib. Somebody comes out the bushes on him. And Norm think he about to get robbed. It was one of the private investigators. He said, hey, man, like, I'm going to keep it real with you. Your team, the Lakers, hired me to follow you. They hired a few of us to follow you around. Norm thought he was bullshitting. And Norm said, no, like the private investigator said to him, no. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you where we parked. I'm going to tell you what you've been doing the past few days. Like, ran it all down from him. And Norm was like, what the fuck? And the guy told him, he said, look, this is my job. I'm just giving you a heads up because I fuck with you. I got respect for you. I think it's kind of fucked up what we're doing, and I think you should know. I'm going to go back to my job. And the next morning when Norm was leaving, sure enough, right where he said they parked up, the car pulled out and followed Norm. So, of course, he went into Jerry West's office. What the fuck is you on? You following me?
For the listeners, my mouth is agape. Do you hear me? What?
I told you it was too. I was expecting to see it because I told you verbatim that makes too much good television for them to leave that part out.
Oh my God! See, this is why we need 8 episodes. If we couldn't get to 10, that could have been at least. Oh my fucking God!
And think about this, Rachel. If the dude wasn't a Norm Nixon fan and told him, he's probably still wouldn't have known for who knows how long.
Bruh.
And obviously that you can't come back from that. So Norm was like, fuck it then. Like, y'all, if that's what we own, then get me out of here.
Yeah, let me go.
He didn't want to leave LA, but you can't fix that. You hired people against my knowledge to follow my whole day.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Crazy.
Not an 8-hour shift, Rachel. 24/7 round the clock surveillance on this nigga. Like they the feds.
Can I sue you? For invasion of privacy? Is that a suable?
I don't know. I guess it's not illegal to hire a private investigator.
Yeah, I guess not. I don't know, but that shit is.
But you don't. To this day, I don't think I've ever heard of a team doing that to one of their players. But that was a Jerry West thing. That was him and Norm really had issues.
Damn, Jerry! Just when you were starting to become endearing.
That shit's wild, and maybe that's why they kept it out the show to kind of make him more endearing. I don't know.
Fuck that.
I like. Nah, that's some
crazy. That's insane. But that is
that's the one part. That's the one part in the Showtime book that had me like you, mouth agape, like just what?
Wow. Oh, y'all gotta add that. Y'all gotta give us the cutting room floor. Like, oh my gosh, that is crazy. I can't believe that didn't make it in.
This is all Googleable information. You can just like it's in the Showtime book. This isn't like some effect. This isn't a rumor. This happened.
Wow, that is wild. That is absolutely wild. So at his he's traded on his birthday. That's
technically the day before his birthday, but yeah, same thing.
My birthday.
Same thing. So that's some cold-blooded shit.
It's cold-blooded. So at his party, the team is there. Debbie's there, Miss Debbie. And Bill and Jerry come in, and Norm, he ain't no bitch. So he's like, you know what? I know this is your decision. And clearly he was fucking right. And you told me this last week that he was gonna bust their ass. He told them he was, and he did.
Ain't nothing like that revenge game.
It's nothing like that revenge game. Shout out to Norm. So this is the last we see of Norm, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there's nothing that he would need to come. He doesn't play any kind of role with the Lakers. Moving on to this day, though, he considers himself a Laker.
A Laker, yeah. And the Clippers at this time are in San Diego.
Yep, they're in San Diego. They're not at
LA, right?
You said, well, yeah, it's an easy drive. There's people that live in San Diego and commute to LA,
That's
have
what's up.
houses and shit.
But
Hey, that's what
okay,
money does for you.
for sure. For sure.
But yeah, I know that was a lot, man, because that's the one story I couldn't wait to see, and I was disappointed that I just would have bet money because that's just too good for TV.
Damn. I need that. I would have loved, loved, loved to see that.
Yeah, man. Like, and Norm did not believe this nigga. Like, what are you talking
I
about?
wouldn't believe
So,
that either.
like, what are you on? Like, bro, I know you trying to rob me, set me up. Like, you serving me something. There's no way you telling me that my team hired a PI. He said, all right, you don't believe me? Boom,
Crazy.
boom, boom, boom. There's that car right there. There's this car over here up the street.
Bruh. That is
Yeah,
insane. That is
insane. It's wild, man. It's wild. But I guess in the sense of that, Swin Nader and Byron Scott
mm-hmm.
were two big pieces for the Lakers for the next couple of years. Obviously longer for Byron Scott.
I don't know who that other dude is.
See, no Byron Scott. Yeah, he's just a tall guy, like 6'11" Dutchman. Just somebody that can, because what they don't really talk about at this moment, Kareem is still like good, but he's wearing down some.
Nigga, that was in Magic rookie season.
Yeah, even more now. So they need somebody to spell him, and they could not. For some reason, the Lakers could not find a viable big man. I thought it was interesting in the scene when Red goes into the gym and Larry Bird is shooting.
Yeah.
And he tells him, the Lakers are done. And Larry's like, "Not, I want my shot first." But Red made a comment about, Jerry's the GM now. He's going to wet the bed, which I thought was ironic because we all know from season one, I think Jerry West went to 9 different finals, only won one.
Yeah.
However, as a GM, he might go down as the best GM in history.
Okay.
He got Kobe. He drafted Kobe. He brought Shaq. He made all these moves in the 80s for them to continue winning. Like he's the logo, but his GM resume is flawless.
Yeah.
He got some misses on there, but I just thought that was funny because everybody expected that and he did the complete opposite. I mean, shout out to Jerry West and his team building skills. That was something he was really built to do. So yeah, he brings them in, and I talked about it. I don't know if the show will get into detail, but Byron Scott was not liked. Took a very long time for them to warm up because it's like somebody removing, I don't know,
your best friend.
Your best friend. Yeah, like that's our guy. That's Norm. Like we won rings with this dude.
Yeah,
we fuck with Norm. We got chemistry. We 3 musketeers. Byron be saying what's up, like nobody talking to him, off that type of shit. It wasn't popular, and I think Bill said it at the end of the episode. Like, trading Norm took balls. It's not a popular move.
Yeah.
So if you the guy replacing Norm, you better be nice. And it took a few years for Byron to get there.
Damn. So was it worth it in the end?
Yeah. At the end of the day, if hindsight, knowing how this story ends, yeah, it was worth it. Short term.
Norm, or could it have been anybody for Byron?
At that time, given how Norm's career went, a few years later, he ended up having some injury issues and stuff like that. I think it was the right move when you look back at it. Yeah, I think it was the right move. You get rid of somebody. If you really want to in sports, the smart move is getting rid of somebody a year or two early versus a year or two late. Norm can still play I'm gonna bust y'all ass when I see y'all.
Yeah.
But also past those couple years, what value is this going to bring? Let's get this rookie in here and kind of develop him under what we've already built so he can kind of take that role. He was a known shooter, all of that. So, yeah, I guess at the end of the day, it did work out. And Norm going to be Norm, so he wasn't tripping. Okay. But obviously, he wanted to be a Laker. Debbie Allen, we already talked about her. I'm trying to think of what else that we want to discuss. I know Pat Riley and Chris, we had another scene with them. And him just trying to figure out how to keep his team motivated. Like we just lost to the Clippers, which this is when the Clippers were awful, like laughing stock. You can count them as a win on your schedule. Just lost to the Clippers in November, and Pat's just being paranoid.
Recently, right?
Yeah, they just became good recently. Became good recently. Yeah.
Shout out to Doc Rivers' time there.
That was something. And Donald Sterling and his piece of shit ass.
All his antics. That's crazy.
Yeah. But I love the conversation about how they needed it. Him talking Chris, like they needed this at one point. When they didn't have a ring, that's all they thought about. Now they don't need it. How do you motivate a team like that? Fascinating.
And that's real, because what do you do other than the allure or facing the shame of not being able to do it again? You know, Magic, when the episode started, he was like, "Remember how I told you winning silences that voice, but it's loud than a motherfucker right now." You know, so the voice that wasn't so loud. What do? Well, we shake the table, we shake shit up. So here we are.
Bring a new style. Let's figure it out. And man, we got to get a season 3. That's all I'm gonna say. Everybody, continue watching and continue to share it with friends, because knowing how this season is going to end makes me that much more anxious for season 3, because going to what you just said, a lot of people have to change their approach and their thought process to just continue, because we know they go to the finals in 1984. So from 1980 to 84, minus 1 year, they're in the NBA finals playing deep into June. That does a lot for you, mentally, physically. Your body gets fatigued. The playoffs are like 2 games, as they famously say. That counts for 2.
Yeah.
So you're racking up all these games and this extra time, and that just shows how dominant you are. And when you expect it, Pat's point, like at what point do you really dig in? That's why they got swept. A team that good is not supposed to get swept. They just did it because they weren't ready and they weren't expecting them to come in. And Philly was just hungry. Like I said, you only gonna slap us around for so long. Like at some point, the bully got to get bullied.
That's it.
The only way. And I love that whole, even going into the end of the episode when Dr. Buss was telling them, hey, we're not doing champagne this year.
Yeah.
We're to the point now where we don't celebrate this type of shit.
I really, really liked that. We have to change some shit up. What are you excited for? We're about to go into battle. Motherfucker, this is wartime. This is the matchup that everybody's been dying for. Us, them, the fans. We beat them. They've beat us. Not where counted. Now we're going into the big show. Motherfucker, ain't no champagne. Ain't no parties. Keep y'all asses out the form. I don't know if they did or not, but we need to be focused. Like, it's go time. And we kind of jumped around because I do want to talk about some other things like Cookie.
Oh yeah, we will. We're gonna talk about like relationships. I was getting all the basketball stuff out the way, but yeah.
Okay. Can I
Hold
say?
On, were you still talking about Dr. Buss in that moment? Because I had a couple things just to say about it.
Go ahead.
I love the fact that he brought up this losing shit starts now. People say this is the greatest rivalry in sports, but it's not a rivalry, it's dominance.
Yeah.
And that is something that is real. You historically have these 2 franchises or 2 programs that are linked with each other. It kind of reminds me, Rachel and myself being Ohioans.
I swear to God, I was just about to say that. Go ahead.
Yeah, O State and the team up north. Like there was a nice, and I know the past couple of years things have been different. Just a very long stretch where that shit was not a rivalry. You knew exactly what was going to happen on that Saturday after Thanksgiving. You knew exactly how that game was going to go down.
Yeah.
And at some point, yeah, this is cool, it's cute, but we don't even get up for y'all no more. Like this is nothing. So him bringing that emphasis of these rings, like them Philly wins, them 2 trophies, this shit don't mean shit anymore unless we beat Boston.
That's it.
I talk about crossover shows. Everybody knows The Wire is my favorite show. There's a moment in season 4 of The Wire where Omar had gotten such a rep that he was able to rob a drug dealer with no gun and his silk pajamas. Like, and he came home and was salty about it. Like, how you expect to run with the wolves come night if you spend all day sparring with the puppies?
Right.
And that's kind of how it was for Dr. Buss. He looked at it like, you winning, beating these teams is expected. That's why we're not popping champagne. The real test is beating Boston. Like, we ain't got shit to celebrate until we beat them.
That's what's up. Shout out to you. I love how you can pull from a memory fucking seasons. I can't even do that. I can tell you what happened. I can't tell you what season it was in.
Season 4, episode 3. Opening scene. I don't know. It is a gift. I will say that. The callback is a gift. But no, you were going to make a point. Like I said, I wanted to just talk about the basketball stuff since we were on that track because there are a lot of relationship things as well that I think we need to discuss.
Okay. In keeping with Dr. Bus, because I want to talk about Kareem. Um,
Yeah, that too.
as far as basketball goes, we talked about him being obviously an elder statesman, this, that, and the third. We see his house burned down, and I didn't know that he and Cheryl weren't married, but they were very clear on being his companion in the
Mm-hmm.
news. So the house catches on fire. He loses his record collection. It was what a beautiful gesture of the fans. It speaks to celebrity and this, that, and the third. Kareem is horrible to the fans, and
Mm-hmm.
they still had the wherewithal and had the adoration for him to let us come to you bearing gifts. Like that is fucking
Yeah.
crazy. Because someone who has said fuck me, if it's fuck me, you better believe it's fuck you. And yes,
Right.
I don't want you to be unhoused, but
They could have easily just kept that as that's fucked up and shrugged it off.
because that's kind of what the team did. One, they didn't expect him to show up. We ain't see his locker wasn't decorated. They didn't have no big bows. It wasn't no team card that got passed around. It was surprised to see that motherfucker. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
what you doing here, y'all? You ain't got to be here. Yes, I do. Dare I say this is one of, I don't really want to call it unprompted because my house catching on fire is a hell of a prompt, but this is one of the few times we see him unprompted, quote unquote, step up and really command the team on his own volition without
Yeah.
having to be prodded by the coaches or even the younger players of sort of trying to, sun him.
Mm-hmm.
Love this. Shout out to all the people who gave Kareem their records. That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gesture, especially as someone who loves music. It was good to see him step up. It was
Yeah.
good to see even Pat be moved by his words and the team be like, you know what? Hell yeah. It was another one of those speeches, quote unquote, that they needed that shifted the atmosphere and the team attitude. Talk about a fucking morale boost. The nigga we supposed to be following, but ain't really too much following one because he's a curmudgeon. He's old as fucking. He don't be doing shit.
Mm-hmm.
Other than padding his own numbers. Like, yeah, he's a team player essentially, but he's not a teammate. He just
Right. Right.
kept.
Yeah.
So it was just beautiful. And I think, dare I say that is part of what, I mean, that's what we see. It's part of what propelled them to their success that next season. It's Dallas in November. Did they need him that game? Not necessarily. This is still, I mean, they're the swept Lakers, but the championship Lakers.
Right. Exactly. No, I love every single point that you just brought up. Now that you mention it, we get a lot of that, or a couple moments this episode where the moment is larger because of the people who are delivering
Mm-hmm.
the messages.
Mm-hmm.
We just got finished talking about Dr. Bus at the end of the episode. That's not Dr. Bus's style.
Yeah.
He's a partier.
Yeah.
I want to celebrate every win. So for him to say that,
party,
you feel me? Like for him to say that, an owner who is well known for asking the players after games, where are you guys going tonight? Can I come with you?
right.
For him to say that, it held a ton of weight. Kareem doesn't do that either.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps to himself. He spent his career building a wall around himself, letting you clearly know that I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
I'm a coworker.
Yeah.
Not your friend. None of that. Like we work for the same company. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna clock in, and I'm gonna bounce.
And that's it.
So it gets a little bit awkward when you are someone who, you're still a group of 15 people. It might have been, the roster size might have been 12 back then.
Okay.
But a small, tight-knit group, that's still your brother,
Mm-hmm.
whether I have a close relationship or not.
Mm-hmm.
So when things like that happen, it's kind of like, damn, I don't even know how to properly console you or ask you what it is that I can do for you, because you spent the whole time I've known you pushing me away. So for him to kind of have that aha moment,
Mm-hmm.
because one thing about Kareem that is well documented, there's not too many things. I'm talking about top 3 that he cherished more than his jazz collection.
Mm.
So to lose them was probably more devastating than losing his MVP trophies and rings and everything. Obviously, family being safe is the most important.
Yeah.
But that jazz collection was a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the few things that the fans knew about him, that how much he loved music and jazz. That's why when we see Magic come in rookie season with the boombox, turn that shit off. They don't do that. And that's a real thing that happened. A kid, he spotted a kid that had a record for him, and it just such a polar opposite moment of Kareem, can I get your autograph? Fuck off, kid.
Right.
To this, where something just hit him like, yo, and it went perfect with a speech like, yo, we affect these people. Like when we down, they down. When we up, they up. Like we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to them to bring our best. And going back to what we just talked about with Pat Riley, how do I motivate the team that lost their need? That's the perfect type of thing to do it. When you have your captain who isn't known for saying these type of things, give that fiery, like, if you're not bringing your best every day, get the fuck out this locker room.
Yeah.
That's what type of time we on from here on out. No more bullshitting. It kind of gives you goosebumps. Like, all right, let's get it.
It was very moving. I was ready to suit up. Like, God damn.
Yeah, you feel me? Like, I want to go get a bucket or two. Yeah, I might not get a bucket or nothing, but I'm slapping some hands. Like, I'm cheering you on.
I just sit.
Yeah, you feel me? Give me my warm up and shit. We good.
Thursday. Let me get a warm up.
Yeah, but I love that moment, man. And even with Kareem, I guess it's important to touch on. We see early in the episode where he's already thinking about life past LA. You know, the talks first started in episode 5 when he told Jerry, like, you the reason I signed that extension, or Dr. Buss, excuse me. And now we see him, what's up with New York, and him finding out, which I don't know if you knew this or not, Rachel, the guy who plays his agent, that's Jeannie Buss's real life husband.
Okay. I did not know that. I didn't know who he was, but I saw some tweets, whatever his name was, people saying that was like a very sweet thing, like a cherry on top quite type moment. I was like, okay, who is that? Is that his fucking agent's son in real life? Like, who?
Nah, that's Jenny. That's Jenny's husband. They just got married. Like,
oh, that's dope.
I'm talking about like just got married. Like, I'm not even talking about before they started filming. I think they just got married like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's dope. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, that's probably why she's about to be on this episode. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, we Jenny fans over here. This is a Jenny Stan account.
Jenny Stan account. Big J, not the little one.
Yeah, so yep, they wed the week before this episode aired.
Oh,
so
wow.
they're fresh newlyweds.
He did good.
I was like, damn, was he an actor? Like, he actually did pretty decent.
He did.
And he did good in life. I think that's what you're referring to as well.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
But shout out to that. Shout out to that. Let's talk about Jeannie a little bit.
All right, let's go.
You mentioned her speaking to her father in the forum. That's not all we see Jeannie this episode, is it?
We see her, yeah, that's it, pretty much. That and the great, I've said it a million times, I love expression acting. Before those finals kicked off against the Sixers when they got swept and Dr. Buss has his arm around Honey, there's some great facial expression that the actor who plays Jeannie Buss that makes, like, this, I know this nigga ain't, you don't do that. That ain't you. She kind of giving that look, and I thought it was incredible. But yeah, that's pretty much the only moment we see her.
I love that. Because I came in here ready to say, and I tweeted it last night. I tried to do a little live tweeting, but you know, I told y'all Honey wasn't it.
Sure ain't.
And here we see she is still young, and there's a certain finesse also. People don't know, if you've never dealt with the older nigga, it's a certain finesse, especially one that's about his money and his business. See, she still is for the play. She don't really know, and because she don't know Dr. Buss like as well as she thinks she does, you think that these caresses and stuff are comforting. No, motherfucker, I'm mad, I'm calculating, I'm frustrated because I'm bleeding money. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. But she don't know that side. She still only knows fun Jerry, fun Buss. Yes, maybe heartbroken and sad because your mother passed, but she don't know that he really is a motherfucker,
Mm-hmm.
So we see her kind of be put off when he shrugged her off, like, "Nah, bitch, what the fuck? We losing." Nah, this ain't that. That shit was cool at the start of the game. No, we about to get swept. I'm not doing that. And so we see Honey's ass come in the next time we see her, come in the
Wow.
next morning, drunk, high, whatever. And she like, "Ain't this you do you, I do me?" He like, "Nah," because again, this is still what a 60-year-old man
Mm-hmm.
that we kick it when I'm kicking it. When I'm kicking it, motherfucker, you ain't kicking it, but she don't know that because
Right.
she's still young. She's still wet behind the ears. You don't know that them motherfuckers don't be in the mood like that.
You know,
She wants shit. Go ahead.
it's funny because I love when things or episodes make you think, or scenes make you think, or look at
Mhm,
them a different way.
mhm.
Because obviously, upon first watch, you look at Honey like, yo, you wilding. Like, you
Yeah.
got your little cat suit on. You coming in the next morning. You kind of,
She's on the fucking
I don't
tear.
want to say talk. I don't want to say talking back like it's 1950 and shit. But you just ain't here for Dr. Bust's bullshit. You can see it very clearly. But there's also a few things that she said that made me look at it differently too. Like, you just not coming in. You just not noticing I was missing.
Mhm.
It goes into that aspect that you described of dating a nigga with money and one that has uh, more pressing obligations,
Mhm.
which is fixing the Lakers. Like, I'm obsessed
Yeah.
with this shit right now.
Yeah.
I need to. All these successful people, they become that way because they have that same mentality towards everything that they put into.
Mhm.
So she realized, I'm not, Dr. Bus, you're not married to me. You married to the Lakers. You married to the life. And I
That's
think she finally came to that realization. And Dr. Bus, surprisingly to me, it would have been easy for him to say, you know what, fuck it, another one bites the dust. But I could tell there was something about him. I want you around. You just have to wait until I fix this shit first.
yeah.
And Honey wasn't with it. And obviously, their shared history. I was hanging with some old friends. I was scared you're gonna say that. We're talking about starting a family. Yep, as soon as you get your team back on track. While I disagree with Honey, and I'm not a Honey fan by any means, what she's saying, I can understand how she got to that point. But you knew that going into it as well,
That part.
or you
That
should have
part.
known.
That
And the
part.
fact that you didn't know lets you know you shouldn't be married to begin with.
Did Jeannie not try to tell her in so many words and ways?
Try to. I hope we get a Jenny told you so scene.
I pray we do. But I don't know, because we also see later that Dr. Bus is still fucking married to Joanne. How does it slip through the cracks? Joanne seems to be a woman about her business.
Did that have anything to do with her owning the team? When Mama Bus told her you gonna sell her the team for the paperwork, for taxes and all that. I
Mhm,
wonder, does that have any kind of stipulation? But even though they were not together during that time,
mhm.
I wonder how that whole thing works. I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know. That very well could be some of the paperwork, but I was under the impression, because Honey was around when Jeannie was a fucking kid. So you and Joanne been at least separated for a good little minute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, your kids are grown now.
They're grown as fuck. How I'm curious as to how Joanne wasn't like, bruh, file the papers.
There's probably some kind of benefit to being married to Dr. Bus.
Probably.
Because remember in season one, Dr. Bus was still out here in these streets when the kids was coming out. What you very casual about it? What you
Mm-hmm.
guys doing here?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll save me a room. I'll be over here in a minute while he finger fucking another chick.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Um, I'm very curious to the story. So we see that she finds out randomly. So you always find out crazy shit on the humbug.
That's all I always 100% guaranteed. Always.
Always. That's why you don't need to go looking for shit, because what you're supposed to know will absolutely come to you. That's for the ladies. But I I'm curious as to how is it his partner's name is Jerry as well. How they all let him marry. Don't you handle this man's money? Like, I'm surprised that nobody knew that he was still married to Joanne. Because now I'm thinking, did y'all all know he was still married? Jeannie, did you know he was still married to your mama?
Right. I don't know. That is a great question. That did raise eyebrows for me too. I'm like, damn, because he was stuttering and mumbling and fumbling and bumbling. So he knew, like, I was gonna tell you, I just never, bruh. That's not how that works.
You ain't filed no white man's paperwork for this marriage.
That's one of the first things that's done.
She ain't thought, because she young and be playing with them drugs, even though she was trying to act like she wasn't anymore. They don't be knowing what's going on. This is a scheme that Todd set up for the bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah, because did you sign? You guys didn't sign any a marriage license?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's part two. Yeah, like, damn, you didn't even sign a marriage license.
You got to file for a marriage license. You don't just get one. You got to apply. So
I used to think I was lucky to be married to Zeke McCall. She having one of them moments right now.
One of them, and she trying to get her lick back though, because we see that she and her lawyer are trying to sue Dr. Buss for $100 million.
Insane.
Now we know that obviously they don't win, but how they finagle this, if it's not in next week's episode, y'all owe me a season 3, because I need to know how y'all got out of this, because I would think that you've lured me here under false pretenses, alienation of affection. Like, there are so many things that I could sue you for in this kind of fraud. Like, I could really get
I want the record to know, back in 1983-84, $100 million is equivalent to $294 million today. Yeah. We talking big money.
Yeah.
For being my little thing for a few months. You crazy?
You shouldn't have. Why you try to marry the bitch? You just should have kept her around.
Try to tell him. Jeannie probably looking at her nails like this. Try to tell you.
I told you, you doing too fucking much. Sit your old ass down and relax. But
don't act like I ain't tell you when I told you.
When I told you, that's it. Speaking of acting like I didn't tell you when I told you, we back at Cookie and Magic.
That's a great transition. Let's talk about it, man.
So they having one of their jail calls again, which turns out she gets some visitation. I was very surprised and proud of Magic for cruising on down to San Diego. Again, only a 2-hour ride to go check on her during her interview. And he really did show up like Superman. I can step for me. I appreciated that, because I don't know if he was waiting in the wings or his timing was just impeccable. And he heard how those men was playing her to the left. Like, nigga, this is like LA. You know about Michigan.
Right.
This is LA. It's different. And as to which it is, but I'm good. So just shout out to Magic for finally stepping up. As we heard on their phone call, it was definitely some passive aggressiveness going on. But it's hard being the one to really be doing all of the emotional labor. Like, yeah, Magic, you come vent to me and this and the third. Like, I'm always there for you, but what the fuck do you do for me? Some fucking giggles, some entertainment, this community ass dick. Like, what are we talking about here? Shit doesn't matter.
Yeah, it makes you really look at it, and this was needed. We had to see something like this from Magic, because at some point,
had to
what you just said, you start to question, like, why are you still around, Cookie? Like, what are you getting from this? And you gotta, we obviously know her and Virgil are over now, but for quite some time you were accepting these jail calls, as you like to call. That shit's hilarious. It always will be. Knowing that you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, so what are you still holding on to. Like, why you can't even make room for new things unless you get rid of the old. So I think there's a little bit about her that was trying. There's a little bit about her that wanted to, and insecure
Yeah.
when Condola ends up with Lawrence. There's a
Mm.
moment when Issa says, like, she's talking to Ahmad, Amal, I'm
Mhm.
tripping. And she said, she's getting the version that I kind of made. I built this version up. Like, I went through all the shit. Now she's getting the finished product when I, went through everything else. And I think Cookie was looking at it from the same space.
For sure.
I've got too much invested to the point when he does finally get his act together, wink, wink.
Mhm.
Um, I want to be here to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all he needed was a little bit of, I'm taking this seriously. And it just sucks knowing what we know. Like, you really hope that this is the moment. Like, all right. And I think it goes to something we've been harping on all episode. Those new motivations. Now that you're in LA, now that you've been here for a few years, now that you won a couple times, that's not as appealing as more. He said it in his, his speech. This is what really matters. This
Yeah.
is what's going to carry on with you.
Mhm.
I've been a star now. All of that's kind of, the newness is gone.
Yeah.
Now I realize I want to be with you, and
Oh,
it's
now.
all words.
Mhm.
It's all words. But I did love to see it, man. I hate the microaggression towards Black women, so I love to see him pop up. Now,
For
yeah, she
sure.
does everybody. That Cookie the one. Now y'all on her team, huh? Okay.
Oh, okay, Miss Kelly. That's how
Mm-hmm.
you know. So shout out to him for validating her and validating her feelings, because a lot of men are selfish, and he genuinely expected her. Oh, you in California? You drive these 2 hours up here to LA. Nigga, what you doing? You ain't in camp, you ain't in practice yet. You ain't in camp yet. Get your ass down here. The fuck?
Right.
Shout out to him for actually coming and
Yeah.
actually sliding. Like, in 2 episodes or 2 seasons, this is the first like redeeming qualities that we see in Magic as far as a partner go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got jokes. We love each other. Our shit is our shit. Don't nobody get it but us. But you ain't really stepped for Cookie. You ain't slid for her at all in 17 episodes until tonight, or 16 until tonight. So shout out to that. We needed to see that.
For
'Cause
sure. For
the
sure, man.
cost don't be enough.
Nah, for sure, man. Virgil can't do that.
He can't.
Virgil can't have that them laughing and sitting there. I know, Rachel, you and I quoted all the time. Ain't nothing like somebody that gets you.
Baby, I get you. There's nothing like that. And I talk a little bit about my own little bullshit here, here and there. But see, look at that. That's another time to shut my mouth about this shit. But
Oh,
it doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter how good this next person is. He could literally have damn near everything on your list, like well off, man of God, family oriented, ain't no hoe, this and the third, ain't got no random ass kids, blah 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 blah, and they just ain't ain't got the sauce. I got to carry the heavy lifting of the jokes. Don't want to do it. I got to be the sole entertainment, because while you're all of this, you boring, but not in an ace way, but like in a watching paint dry way, Um, Ace from Paid in Full, for those who didn't know who I was talking about. But it's just
you got a
different.
diverse audience.
Exactly that. Exactly that. The listenership is growing. Um, Sometimes people just are not it. And we talk, and then now that you've seen They Call Me Magic, you have been seriously questioning why Cookie has stayed down. I mean,
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Monica and C Murder ain't got shit on Cookie and Magic. Like,
Nah, that's real, man. My goodness.
down. But sometimes the man up front got to be the man up front. You know, we talked about that last week. Shout out to James Brown. The sauce, everybody ain't got it. And it is unfortunate and it is unfair. It's not fair. It's not even fair. I'm glad she finally said she ain't heard from Virgil. They ain't kicking it. She let that shit go because at some point it's not even fair to these other niggas to even keep playing with them if you know that you're gonna keep playing with that because at some point they become annoying to you. This is a nuisance because now I got to keep up a front and I got to be whatever version of myself that I said I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
I am with you, but it ain't that. It ain't who I want to be. It ain't how I want to be. I can just truly let my hair down. I don't have to watch my mouth. I don't have to do shit, but just be with this ridiculous ass nigga. I don't love you. I barely like you. So it is what it is. I get it, girl. Kinda.
Listen, that was very well said. And it's one of those things that's just, I don't know if there ever will be words to describe it when you just have a certain connection with someone, especially when you are very aware, very eyes are wide open to the fact that this is may not be the best thing for me at the time, but there's still that extra, that's their ingredient, there is that ingredient that that person has. Where even if I'm only getting this part time, I still want it because there's something about it that makes this thing function.
Yeah.
And you can know it's trash. Both of you can know it's trash, but you still continue with it. You
Mm-hmm.
both know better. You still continue with it. It's just one of those things. I'm sure everybody has it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
people talk about their person. You know, sometimes you
Y'all
can
better
get your
get
person and you feel me like, yeah, it could be a little crazy. So I
uh
think you hit the nail on the head with that. Because that's what we're seeing Cookie go through. It's just, I think this scene it summed it up for me because it makes no sense for her to be there, but also there's nobody to Cookie like Magic.
That's it. That's and,
Um,
we've
and
seen that since the inception of this show. And the first time we see their interaction, no matter what, it's just different. It's something about that nigga that's different.
yeah, we talked about this. For the listeners out there who are only familiar with We Got Y'all, Rachel and myself are also co-hosts on a show called Culture Garden.
Mhm.
And a while back, we did Pretty Woman. And there's a scene at the beginning of Pretty Woman when Richard Gere's character is at that house and he runs into an old flame.
Mhm.
And he said, "Oh, I heard you're married now." And her response to him was, "You know, I couldn't wait for you forever." That's, and mind you, this is a married woman. Not
Mhm.
saying I love this dude. I found my husband. He's the one. Her
Mhm.
response to him, as far as getting married, "I couldn't wait on you forever." And I just think of that when I think of Cookie and Magic. Like Cookie would have ended up being that woman. And even if Magic, if she could have been married, I won't say that obviously because Cookie's a real person. This isn't a movie character, but who knows? He was just the one. She would have waited, I think, forever and as long as she needed. So shit, she did for him to get his act together.
Man.
And we give Magic them a hard time. I mean, I will say he has been married since 1991, but everybody knows what comes along with that.
Mhm.
We're gonna have to dive into it here. But at least shout out to them for continuing to be married, still
Why don't
showing love, and
hold it down? That's
Sam
it.
Jackson and all them on these couple cruises,
I
and
need to.
Steve
Hey,
Harvey, all of it.
come. Hey, fly me out.
Yeah, Magic go down forever.
You're like, yeah, you know, and it really is beautiful to see, like in real life, and it's cute to watch on TV. And so I'm really glad that we got a good episode, quote unquote, of Cookie and Magic. You know, wasn't no bullshit. When that phone rang, I was with Cookie, like, all right, now what the fuck is about to happen now? What happened? What bitch is it? What did you do? It was nothing, you know.
Yeah, even when Magic first said, you know, I came here to see my girl, your girl, and then they was about to get into it. He was like, "But I ain't here for all that." Like he knew, like, I'm not even here to mess up that moment. Like I'm here for because I really wanted to, you know, see you. Blah blah blah. It was a very genuine moment, and it makes everything come together as far as why they're together.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's really all I have. You know, other than
That's
that, we get the montage leading into the finale. We getting the Boston LA build up.
hey,
Um,
it's lit.
we got to get hour 15. Come on, HBO. Don't play us like that.
How long was this one? 46?
46 minutes, 47, whatever it was. Like, come on, HBO.
Yeah. We need
We
some time.
waiting. It's the finale.
We need some time, baby.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. I'm excited. Shout out for you.
7-game series. That's the only spoiler I'll give you. It went 7 games.
Okay, I'm
Hell
not
of a
gonna.
series.
If y'all don't know, don't Google who won. Be surprised with me when we come back here next week.
Yeah, man. Hell of a series. An all-timer. So yeah,
How many?
I'm very much so looking forward
Tell
to
me
it.
this. How many times did they meet in the finals?
3 times total.
Okay. Okay, don't tell me. Okay.
Yep. 84, 85, 84, 85, 87.
Oh shit. Okay.
So 3 times in 4 years they meet in the finals.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess they did it
Yeah,
with the Sixers, but
yeah. I mean, they've been waiting this whole time to
God damn.
get there, and now you get it.
And you told me that they were in the finals damn near all in the 80s.
I think our very first episode of this show, I told you in the 80s, the Celtics and the Lakers won 8 of the 10 championships.
Crazy. Wild.
The Sixers and the Pistons are the other 2 teams. Other than that, it was either the Lakers or the Celtics.
Shout out to the Pistons, the original home team.
Yeah, original home team, man. Bad Boys Pistons, right up the road from you.
For sure.
Right up the way. So I think that's it. That's all I got. I'm ready for next week already. It's bittersweet because that's the finale.
Yeah.
And I've been enjoying these each and every week, but also I just want to give a quick shout out to this whole team and staff and cast and everybody because I know we get on here every single week. And this isn't even just talking about like wanting more seasons, which we obviously do, but this is really quality, incredible television.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the worst things you can do as a show, in my opinion, like one of the worst tropes, is trying to squeeze a large amount of time into an episode or 2 episodes. It almost never works.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they took 1982 and 1983 with so much stuff that happened, and even though we do miss out on the incredible private investigator Norm Nixon scene, that's really one of the only major things that we didn't get.
Yeah.
So for them to do that in 47 minutes and still come out with this kind of quality show, I mean, that's unheard of. And I just really want to tip my hat to them because that is an incredible job.
For sure. Every Sunday night, there are 10,000 tweets. Winning Time is the best show on TV. Winning Time is the best show on TV. That is not hyperbole. Winning Time is one of the best shows on TV. I'm a TV fool. I watch way, way, way too much TV, but I love it. And Winning Time gets my real time full attention every week. I love it. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm geeked for next week. Hopefully, y'all are enjoying us talk shit about Winning Time every week. Check us out. Continue. Sure. The numbers are growing. Like, thank y'all so much for listening to us run our mouths. We love this shit. We love y'all.
Love it. We love y'all. Most importantly, we got y'all.
We got y'all. Period.
Rachel, always a pleasure. You know how we get down.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Everybody out there, thank y'all for listening. We'll see y'all next week to talk about the finale. Y'all be cool. How y'all be cool.
Peace out.
Oh, man.